For today's part of the Game Wisdom Best of 2023 awards, returning to Most Original or Best Original Games. The alternate title for this one is Best of whatever it is I'm looking at. For this part, we're not going to be doing a runner-up, as it's kind of hard to say runner-up for the most original games. Instead, we have 5 picks, each one being very different and kind of not easily fitting into any of the other categories, and why I decided to kind of put them all here. And we're going to start off with 24 Killers. Is it a slice of life sim? A Animal Crossing meets survival? Weird existential look at cosmic beings? All the above? Who knows? But this is a game that certainly defies its kind of general logic. While it may look like your standard kind of action exploration game, there are multiple mini-games. You must use the power of friendship to gain photos to then allow you to transform into other forms, lots of secrets. Your save files act as alternate dimensions, which when you start a new save, there's now carryover and new elements that get added in each time you restart the game. This one does not easily show what makes it unique off the top of the hat here, and it's going to take some time to dig into 24 Killers. But if you do have that time and looking for something very original, then this is an easy recommendation. Speaking about existential questions from cosmic beings, our next game is Deios or Deios. The description, you'll have it down below. This is, I'm going to hopefully get this right, a religious-centric idol boss rush action shooter. Yeah, there's no question why it's in this category. In this one, you are playing basically a kind of like late 80s, early 90s, like shareware, vaporware style game, whereby solving the mysteries of it, you will somehow ascend into godhood or some other strange things. The gameplay here revolves around you kind of building your gun, or I should say your gun, out of different parts. Each part will kind of affect not only the damage, rate of fire, but also give it special properties, such as instant hit scan, but it could give you massive reload. So there's this puzzle element of figuring out what is the best weapon for any given boss encounter, all told through again this very unusual story. This one again, you should not go into with any real expectations, as the game will certainly go all over the place. And if you're looking for a game that, again, it's going to hit a lot of marks, I'm not necessarily sure if they all hit 100%, but again, if you're looking for something original, and of course looking for some divinity as well, then check this one out. Number 3 is once again another case of why it is damn near impossible to define what is an RPG, and that is Final Profit. This is a shop sim meets idol meets JRPG, where instead of turn-based combat, you must battle with your checkbook in order to take over the land one property at a time. Playing as Madam Biz, you must take on capitalism by using capitalism. As you go throughout the game, you'll start out in a kind of small shop selling loot boxes and coffee to addicts, to then go to the big city, to then buy property, and soon your income will go from dollars at a time to hopefully millions at a time. There is a huge world to explore in Final Profit to find additional secrets, upgrade your products, find new customers, and the developers adding more in terms of new game plus post-game content as well. Again, this is not the game you're going to play if you're looking for a robust, mechanically deep RPG, or one where all your choices will matter. This is a game for someone who really loved the shop sim aspect of Racketeer, property buying of Yakuza 0, and any game where it is more about what you own rather than upgrading your sword to its umpteenth level. So if you're looking for a little business sim with your JRPG, then this is a really fantastic game that if you get sucked into it, there is a whole lot of time to spend buying and selling. Our next game is pretty much why I came up with this category for Best Original Games, and that is Making of Karateka. This is not so much a game as it is an interactive museum piece, all built and framed around the story of the game Karateka from Jordan Mechner, and hopefully I didn't butcher that too badly, and how he created one of the most original games in the 80s, featuring unique music and kind of different take on action design, and the game features different iterations of it, as well as interviews and descriptions of the game, and kind of the timeline of how this game came to be. This is, again, not so much a video game, but just a very beautiful and well done documentary on a game, and definitely sets the standard for this kind of discussion and on game preservation as of a whole. Digital Eclipse is going to be making more of these kinds of Golden Masters series, and I am definitely all for it. So this is not the game you're going to pick up if you're looking for something that is going to blow your minds in terms of brand new or original gameplay. But if you have any interest in the history of the industry or game preservation, then this is a definite recommendation for you. Our next game is the kind of spiritual sequel to Cultist Simulator by Weather Factory, and that is Book of Hours. I didn't get a chance to play too much of this one, and we didn't have time to kind of fit into the stream. But this is kind of the evolution and also streamlining of that last game, where Cultist Simulator was more like roguelike, very difficult to survive and stabilize kind of game. Book of Hours kind of translates the kind of card item-based system into an almost like RPG adventure. You wake up on a mysterious island with the call to a mysterious library, which you must collect books, maybe summon some otherworldly beings, and try to keep yourself once again alive. If you liked the concept of Cultist Simulator, but you didn't like the extreme difficulty of that one, Book of Hours is an easy recommendation. It still has those annoying quirks, especially in terms of onboarding, and kind of educating the player as to what they're supposed to do, what are their options, kind of where they need to go. But if you're looking for a very story-rich and yet still very interesting take on this design, then this is a good recommendation. Now, if you're looking for some kind of elevated take on the hidden object genre, our next pick is Crime O'Clock. This combines kind of investigation with hidden object to give you a kind of time-traveling, era-spanning game. It's your job to figure out why someone is messing with the timeline throughout the history of the world. And to do that, well, you're going to need to find clues. Lots and lots of them. The kind of twist on the formula here is that each map is played in kind of different time periods. And each time you kind of move forward or back, the map itself will change accordingly. So it's not only about figuring out where something is, but when it is as well. Now, if you're not a fan of hidden object design, then this game is definitely not going to turn you into one. But this is a very novel and interesting take on that gameplay. And if you are looking for another game to really play extreme Where's Waldo in, then this is a solid pick. Another game that kind of hits multiple categories is Time Walker Dark World. This is Auto Battler meets Rogue-Lite. In this one, you must survive in a strange dimension by powering up your characters, fighting lots of monsters, and synergizing all those skills and gear that you'll find. The Rogue-Lite elements come in after you finish a map. You'll be able to spend your kind of currency to unlock new characters, upgrade existing classes, gain better abilities, and so on and so forth. This game, again, like our last one, it's not going to make you a fan of the auto battler style, but I did enjoy what they were trying to do with the roguelite elements and kind of giving you some decision making with the different classes, how you apply skills and whatnot. It still is a little hard sometimes to follow what is going on and what you should be doing, And again, if you don't like this design, then this game is not going to work for you. But it is yet another original take, and one that should be at least a good recommendation if you're enjoying the kind of auto-battler style. And lastly, for our list of best original games, we have Full Quiet. This is a kind of homebrew NES action, adventure, survival puzzle game. It is the post-apocalypse, and you are trying to get radio relays back on deep in the mountains in order to find your son. But unfortunately, there are a lot of things in the wilderness and mountains that you must try to avoid or deal with. This is another game that kind of defies basic genre conventions. It is an action platformer, but it's also very more slow and grounded. There's a heavy emphasis on puzzle solving, finding resources. The game features a full day-night cycle as well. This is a title that, much like with 24 Killers, you are not going to get kind of like the full breadth and depth of this game within 20 to 30 minutes. And it can easily lose you with its kind of more, I guess, like esoteric control scheme and kind of what you're trying to do. But there is certainly something original here in terms of its design. The fact that this was built originally, or built to be like a homebrew NES game with all these elements, is certainly some high praise from developers. So, if you're looking for something that is definitely modern retro, but with a whole lot of different design than you might expect, then this is a recommendation. I would at least give this one a try, because again, it's not going to work for everyone, but if it works for you, you're going to find a very original game here. And with that, another episode wraps up. Hope you enjoyed these. Let me know what some of your favorite original games were for 2023. And with that said, hope you come back for our next episode. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to do the YouTubing stuff people tell you to do. If you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my books wherever they are sold. Visit our Discord and Patreon, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where you some of the art and science of games.